boxing. We have great news. It's been an ongoing battle with Matchroom and other promotions to bid the rights for the fight with Subriel Matias versus Dalton Smith. A lot of people were under the impression that uh, Eddie Hearn's Matchroom was going to be the highest bidder, and because it's a very big elite promotional company. It's a major promotional company, so usually major promotional companies get the upper hand, especially against lower echelon promotions like Fresh Boxing Promotions proved what they're made of, because usually promotional companies that are not established and go against a bigger promotion like Eddie Hearn's Matchroom, they usually lose the purse bids and the rights to actually have control over the fight. So in the case of Fresh Boxing Promotions, they were able to win the purse bid, and they're showing that they're a major player in the promotional boxing landscape right now, and they're gonna have a lot of control over key fights. This bid between Matchroom and Fresh Production Boxing from Puerto Rico proved that Puerto Rico, as far as the promotional company of Fresh Production Boxing, is a major player in Puerto Rico and worldwide in the boxing landscape. So now we see that they outbidded Matchroom. You know, Production Boxing from Puerto Rico, Subriel Matias Boxing Promotion, outbidded Matchroom. They offered $1.9 million. Fresh Production Boxing from Puerto Rico, Subriel Matias Promotional Company, and Matchroom offered $1.7 million. So this proves that Puerto Rican boxing promotion is a major player in the boxing landscape right now, and they're gonna have control over key fights in the future because they were able to outbid a major promotional company like Matchroom, which I was really astonished and surprised that took place, because I was thinking that Matchroom was gonna have the upper hand and they were gonna make the fight. This was the plan for Matchroom. They were gonna make the Dalton Smith fight versus Subriel Matias in the UK, most likely, or they were gonna do it in Riyadh in Saudi Arabia with Turkey Al Sheikh. But I feel that the goal was, based on what I was reading, the goal was for Eddie Hearns to actually make the matchup in the UK, giving Dalton Smith his fight of the advantage, because he felt that he had enough leverage with his boxing promotion of Matchroom to outbid Fresh Production Boxing, which he was sadly mistaken for believing that, because the surprise is that the event between Dalton Smith and Subriel Matias is going to take place in Puerto Rico. It's going to take place in Puerto Rico. They're aiming to make the fight in the fall, November or December. That is the talks that they're having right now. But the fight is definitely going to take place in Puerto Rico. There's no official date or official date when it's going to take place, but it's definitely going to take place in Puerto Rico. Fresh Production Boxing from Puerto Rico, a promotional company from Puerto Rico that promotes Subriel Matias, proved a lot of doubters wrong, and a lot of people are astonished. And this was so ironic, because I didn't think that a promotional company as small as Fresh Production Boxing was going to outbid Matchroom, Eddie Hearn's Matchroom, which is a major promotional company. But this proves that that Fresh Production Boxing is a major player in boxing, and they're going to actually have control over a lot of the events with Subriel Matias. As long as they have strong fighters like Subriel Matias, Fresh Production Boxing could defeat any major promotional rival. And they proved it by outbidding Matchroom. They offered $1.9 million. Fresh Production Boxing, a promotional company with the CEO being Juan Urango. They proved by putting $1.9 million against Eddie Hearn's Matchroom's $1.7 million, that they are a major player in boxing, in the boxing landscape, and they are going to be able to have control over key fights, and having a strong fighter like Subriel Matias and keeping them on their platform proves that they can actually grow their reputation now that they were able to outbid a major rival company like Eddie Hearn's Matchroom. They are proving and that they're a major player, and they're actually going to have a lot of say in future fights with Subriel Matias and big events. They're going to have a lot of leverage because they prove that they can actually outbid a bigger, more well-known company like Matchroom, Eddie Hearn's Matchroom Boxing. But this is only going to make the company better, and it's going to increase their respect and their reputation moving forward right now, because they were able to outbid a big company like Matchroom. No one imagined this at all. A lot of people were surprised and astonished that Eddie Hearn's Matchroom lost the purse bid to have control over the fight, and now they're gonna make sure that Subriel Matias gets paid what he deserves to get paid. And people are talking about the Liam Paro fight, how that okay, if he's fighting in Puerto Rico, how does that affect the fight? It's not gonna. They're saying that if Subriel Matias was able to lose against Liam Paro 2 summers ago when he had the IBF belt, that he has the WBC belt, defense in Puerto Rico is not gonna guarantee that he wins the fight if it goes by decision, because Liam Paro was able to beat him by decision. But I think Subriel Matias has learned from the past, and he's not going to take anything for granted. And I believe that he's focused, and the style of fighting that Dalton Smith has is not the same as Liam Paro. But I truly believe that the Liam Paro fight was actually rigged between Subriel Matias, because Subriel Matias didn't have the promotional leverage at that time. But the company has grown. They have made moves before Subriel Matias won the belt by beating Puello. So they actually proved that, like, they established their company, and that was the deal that they made. So now they're a powerhouse. Fresh Production Boxing is a powerhouse, and they're going to be able to have control over big events in the future. And this is just this defeat of Matchroom increases their reputation, and it continues the growth of the company. So this is only going to make the company more well known, more established, and gain more notoriety and more respect, being that they Fresh Production Boxing beat a big major promotional company in Matchroom. This is a blow to Eddie Hearn's Matchroom, because now the fight's going to take place in Puerto Rico, and he's gonna have a fight where his fans are going to be able to support him, and he's not going to be able to dictate the terms financially, and Eddie Hearns is not going to be able to do that. And I believe that they were trying to really do Subriel Matias really dirty. Turki Al-Sheikh didn't give Subriel Matias the deal that he wanted, and they are in cahoots with each other, Eddie Hearns and Turki Al-Sheikh, and I believe that they wanted everything to be accommodated for Dalton Smith and not Subriel Matias, and they were trying to make the fight in the UK. If he would have won the purse bid, if Eddie Hearns Matchroom would have won the purse bid, the fight would have been taking place in the UK, and Subriel Matias was going to get paid less. But since Subriel Matias is the champion, they refused the deal that Turki Al-Sheikh offered for November 22nd. So, and he felt like he was getting lowballed and getting underpaid. So that's why they refused the deal, and that's why they got a better deal, and they won the purse bid. And this was strategic. This is very strategic in the part of Fresh Production Boxing, where they actually won the bid, and now they dictate the terms, the financial terms, and Subriel Matias has a chance to not get robbed, because they were trying to rob Subriel Matias. That Eddie Hearns was trying to do it. They did it with Edgar Berlanga, but Edgar Berlanga was gonna fight Sharizi. They were making sure that Sharizi would win, but that's irrelevant because Sharizi knocked out Edgar Berlanga. So all those skepticism that we had about what would happen if the fight went the distance, that's already eradicated from people's minds because either way, Sharizi won by knockout, and it didn't have to go to the judges. Maya Torres, Boricua de lo mío. Saludos, saludos, saludos. Thanks for tuning into the channel. Judy White, how you doing, Judy White? Doom Gamer, hi. How you doing, my brother? How you doing, everybody? Thanks for tuning into the channel. Subscribe to the channel. Tony also knows boxing. You're tuning into my channel, so yeah, this is where you get the news first. And Tony also knows boxing on my channel. So the fight is gonna take place in Puerto Rico. Subriel Matias versus Dalton Smith. So it's already official that Fresh Production Boxing, Puerto Rico's promotion of Subriel Matias, they actually won the bid against Matchroom. Matchroom got defeated by Fresh Production Boxing. So they're proving that the promotional company of Puerto Rico, Fresh Production Boxing, is a major player in the boxing world and the boxing landscape. And they're going to be able to dictate terms in the future with other promoters because now they're gaining the leverage, they're gaining the finances, and they're actually gaining the reputation as a serious conglomerate, big promotion of Puerto Rico. So Puerto Rico is getting their respect. And Subriel Matias thanked God and said, wow, I get an opportunity to fight again in front of my people, and this time I'm going to show everybody that whatever happened the first time was a fluke. He didn't say that exactly, but that's exactly what he was alluding to. And he's going to definitely prove what he's made of. And I believe that Dalton Smith is no joke. I believe that he is a good fighter. I don't know how good he is, but I believe that he's 18-0 with 13 KOs for a reason. And I'm not going to say that it's an easy fight for Subriel Matias, but I believe Subriel Matias is going to do what he has to do, and he's going to knock him out. But it's going to be a competitive fight. I think so. Are you talking about boxing? Yes, I'm talking about boxing, Herf. Herf, how you doing? Subscribe to the channel. Tony also knows boxing. Hector Tapia, bendiciones, mi hermano. Muchas bendiciones. Bendiciones para ti también, mi hermano. Te aprecio. Y gracias por estar en sintonía en el canal mío. Suscríbete a mi canal. Tony also knows boxing. Click like. Yeah, so Subriel Matias is going to fight in Puerto Rico. The fight is going to be taking place in Puerto Rico either November or December. They were saying that the fight is going to be in the fall or November or December, and they're speculating if they're going to put it in the same card as Amanda Serrano. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to take place in the Choliseo of Puerto Rico. That would be great. But this is a huge, huge victory for Puerto Rico and for Subriel Matias, and a huge blow for Eddie Hearns Matchroom, who's been trying to do Subriel Matias dirty. And I believe that the WBC is favoring fighters like Dalton Smith because the promotion is with Matchroom, and Turkey Al-Sheikh is actually I think they're in cahoots with Eddie Hearns Matchroom. But now that Subriel Matias promotion has proven that they can beat and outbid a major promotional company like Eddie Hearns Matchroom, I feel like they're in the game now. I believe that Fresh Production Boxing of Puerto Rico, Subriel Matias boxing promotion from Puerto Rico, they're a major, major player in the boxing game right now. They're proving that they are a major player in the boxing landscape because they were able to outbid Eddie Hearns Matchroom. They put $1.9 million to have rights to the fight, where it's going to take place, and how much money the fighter Subriel Matias makes. And I believe that they're going to accommodate Subriel Matias and make sure that he gets paid more than Dalton Smith. Eddie Hearns was doing the opposite. He was making sure that Dalton Smith gets paid more money because that's his fighter, and he's with the bigger promotional company, so to speak. But I feel like they actually had a rude awakening because Fresh Production Boxing has surprised them, and gave him a rude awakening by beating them and outbidding them. I bet you that Eddie Hearn's Matchroom didn't even expect for Fresh Production Boxing of Puerto Rico to outbid Eddie Hearn's Matchroom. They weren't, I don't think they were perceiving that. I don't think they were expecting that. But Puerto Rico is actually showing what we're made of, and the boxing promotion of Puerto Rico is starting to get the respect gradually what they've always wanted. They're actually slowly getting the respect that they deserve. And I believe that right now, this is a big victory, a huge victory for Fresh Production Boxing of Puerto Rico, and also a huge victory for Puerto Rico itself and Puerto Rican boxing, because now we prove to the world that even though Puerto Rico is an unincorporated territory, we're making moves. The United States is making it harder for us, but we're finding a way to circumvent a lot of the laws that the United States imposes on Puerto Rico, so Puerto Rico does not become successful. But that's another story for another day. But this is a huge victory for Puerto Rico. Fresh Production Boxing has beat a major rival promotional company worldwide in Matchroom by Eddie Hearn's Matchroom Boxing. So I believe that now Subriel Matias doesn't have to go all the way to the UK and possibly get robbed because he's fighting in the promoter, the Dalton Smith promoters. He's the one promoting the Dalton Smith, so he doesn't have to worry about a fishy decision if Subriel Matias was to fight in the UK, and for some reason they rob him of the fight if he wins, because the major boxing promotion that has Dalton Smith is going to make sure and ascertain that he wins the fight even though he loses the fight, because you know how it is in boxing. They can pay off the judges. They can actually pay off the judges, and they control who wins and who doesn't win based on the powers that be, using their money to make sure that their fighter wins. But I believe in this case, Subriel Matias probably doesn't have to worry about that, because Fresh Production Boxing actually showed their leverage, and they actually proved that we're not second place anymore, that we're first place. And the leverage and the company of Fresh Production Boxing is actually enhancing every day. And I believe that those moves that they made before Subriel Matias got a second opportunity to fight for the WBC with Alberto Puello actually paid dividends and actually made them a power player in the boxing landscape. Because I believe that Eddie Hearns said to Fresh Production Boxing and to Subriel Matias that when they fought Liam Paro, that if you lose this fight and you let my fighter win, because then I will allow you to have your own pay-per-view. So that's what happened. They were able to lowball Fresh Production Boxing in the Liam Paro fight because Subriel Matias still wasn't established enough. But once Subriel Matias got established and had his own pay-per-view, which Eddie Hearns said that he will allow Fresh Production Boxing to have their own platform and get a major main event for Subriel Matias, and that's what Subriel Matias did. He had 2 fights that he fought. Goya's, and I forgot the other guy's name. It was 2 fights that he made, or 3 fights, before he fought Alberto Puello. And then those fights were all main events for Subriel Matias. And that was the deal that Eddie Hearns made with Fresh Production Boxing with Subriel Matias at that time. But nobody's going to tell you the exact details. But Subriel Matias has alluded to this. And I feel that that's the boxing politics that happens, So that's why Subriel Matias was able to get a second opportunity with WBC champ, then WBC champ Alberto Puello. That's how he was able to get that fight. And once he won that fight, and then now that Fresh Production Boxing from Puerto Rico is a major player, they surprised Eddie Hearns and Matchroom. They were not expecting to actually get defeated by that company from Puerto Rico, because they were small before Fresh Production Boxing, but they're not small anymore. They're actually a big major player now. But this is the astonishing surprise for Eddie Hearns of Matchroom. I don't think they saw that one coming. I don't think they saw it coming. But you know what? This is good. And the Subriel Matias fight is going to take place in November or December. Possibly, I don't know if it's going to take place under the Amanda Serrano fight. It's possible, but there's speculation about it. But the fight is most likely going to take place in November or December for sure. And it's going to be in Puerto Rico. Remember, Tony also said it first. You got it from Tony also. All these other content creators that don't know how to speak Spanish, that are Puerto Rican, I don't think they got the news before me. I don't think so. I think I'm the first one to do it. So subscribe to that channel. I'm going to interview Yanquiel Rivera tomorrow. I was supposed to interview him, but I had technical difficulties because I was dealing with stuff that I had to take care of in my house. And I took care of it, thank God. God is good. But yeah, I'm going to interview Yanquiel Rivera tomorrow at 6 p.m. I'm going to do it live, and then I'm going to share it on my YouTube after I do the live. But I'm going to do an interview with Yanquiel Rivera, talk about the controversial draw, which I feel like he won that fight. But that other fighter that he was fighting, Angelino Cordova, is a dirty fighter. He kept using his hand. I think he gave him like 80 rabbit punches. I think he gave him 80 or 40 rabbit punches. Subscribe to that channel. Tony also knows boxing. You're tuning into my channel. Subscribe to that channel. Tony also knows boxing. If you want the real deal and you want to know how it really feels, you got to subscribe to my channel and click that like button. And if you're not afraid of the truth, you will always get inside the booth where I'm at. And subscribe to that channel and click like. If you like the truth and you love what I'm talking about, and I don't hold back on saying the truth, and I give people the real unadulterated facts, then you're gonna want to tune into my channel and subscribe to my channel. But if you're afraid of the truth, you're gonna go to those other content creators that just give you that fake news, and they exaggerate with their content, and they don't really give you the real facts, and they don't even know how to speak Spanish. They only speak English, and they don't know how to interview their favorite Puerto Rican fighters from the island because they're too busy not learning Spanish. If you want to know, if you love Puerto Rican boxing and you're proud to be Puerto Rican, you should know how to speak the language and embrace your culture and be bold and be more knowledgeable, and then you'll be able to have more flexibility and interview your favorite fighters from Puerto Rico that speak only Spanish. That's what I'm doing. I'm able to interview Abisael Cotto, Yanquiel Rivera, and more. I'm going to be interviewing more people. But you know what? Because I'm not afraid to speak Spanish, because that's the first language that I learned. And I grew up in Brooklyn, but I speak Spanish and English. I learned Spanish first from my parents. I'm a real Boricua. I speak Spanish and English. I don't limit myself. Subscribe to that channel. Tony also knows boxing. You're tuning into my channel. Subscribe to that channel. Tony also knows boxing. So yeah, you got it over here first. Subriel Matias is going to fight in Puerto Rico versus Dalton Smith. It's official. Well, we don't know what date. There's no official date yet, but that's what's going to happen. They're not going to lowball Subriel Matias because he has a Puerto Rican company dictating the term. In most cases, Eddie Hearns' Matchroom would have won. He would have won. But the reason why, Matchroom lost to Fresh Production Boxing is because Fresh Production Boxing has established themselves, and they really crept up on the other boxing players, and they really hit them with a curveball that they didn't see coming. Because Fresh Production Boxing, nobody thought that they were going to be as big as they are right now. And Matchroom got sadly mistaken by underestimating Fresh Production Boxing. They thought they were going to do the same thing they did to Fresh Boxing Production the first time when Subriel Matias didn't have as much clout as he has now when he fought Liam Pardo. But they weren't able to do that a second time. And I'm glad, because this is to defeat Eddie Hearns too. This is like a double victory. Subriel Matias wins in Puerto Rico. With his first defense of the WBC, what he was unable to do with the IBF, he beats the odds. The people that don't think they can actually win first title defense with the WBC. And he also defeats Eddie Hearns, who thought he was going to beat Subriel Matias and his promoter with his leverage, with his big, major promotional boxing of Matchroom. which now he realizes that Fresh Production Boxing is a serious player in the boxing landscape. So let's get that right. Put the respect on Puerto Rican boxing and put the respect on Subriel Matias, Puerto Rican promotional company, Fresh Production Boxing. Yes, I said it. Tony also. We won. So now Dalton Smith is going to fight away from his home. He's going to have to fight away from his home in UK, and then the Puerto Rican companies showing their significant and growing bargaining power. The win allows Fresh Boxing Promotion to host WBC super lightweight title defense in Subriel Matias' country of Puerto Rico. And they show that they have control, and they show Fresh Production show that they have the power to financially control, outmuscle any major promotional company, as long as they have a strong fighter, and they actually can keep him in the promotional company of Fresh Production to grow the reputation of the company and gain more leverage. That's what they're doing by having Subriel Matias fight on their platform, Fresh Production Boxing, instead of Matchroom. So Matchroom is a visitor, and they're co-promoting with Fresh Production Boxing, but the main promotion is Fresh Production Boxing. So they get to have the leverage for Subriel Matias as the defending champion. He gets more money. They get to dictate the terms. So now all we got to do is just wait for the fight to happen and just clap your hands and stomp your feet and just be happy when these two fighters meet. Dalton Smith and Subriel Matias. Who you with? I'm with the one that gives us alegría, Subriel Matias. You know how it is. So yeah, I got this fight, a very competitive fight. I believe the fight's going to be a back and forth. I don't know too much about Dalton Smith, but I saw videos of him, and he's a really good fighter. And I feel that it's not going to be easy, but I believe that Subriel Matias will beat him by knockout, stoppage. I think he'll stop him. I think he will. But if he doesn't stop him, it's because Dalton Smith is that good. But I feel that Subriel Matias will overwhelm him. But remember, he's not getting any younger, Subriel Matias. So let's just hope that that this fight, when he fights, that he throws a lot of combinations like he always does, and that he has a game plan. That's the main thing I hope for. Yeah. Kelly Oliveira, I'm Brazilian. Salute to my Brazilian brothers. Saludo a mi gente brasileña. Thanks for tuning into the channel. Subscribe to the channel, my brother. I appreciate you. All of you are my family. Kelly Oliveira, number 2. I'm Brazilian. Yeah, shout out to my Brazilian people. One love to my Brazilian people. Yeah, subscribe to the channel. Tony also knows boxing. Yes, Hector Tapia, I appreciate you tuning in, my brother. Gracias por estar en sintonía, mi hermanito. Hector Tapia, gracias por estar en sintonía. Maria Torres said hi. María Torres said, Boricua de los míos. Agradezco mucho que estás en sintonía en mi canal. Ya lo escuchaste primero aquí en el Tony Also Knows Boxing, que va a pelear Subriel Matias en Puerto Rico en noviembre o diciembre. Y Fresh Production Boxing ganó el bid. Ellos pusieron 1.900, 1.9 y entonces la otra compañía, Matchroom, puso 1.7 So, ellos están demostrando, Fresh Production Boxing, que son una compañía que tiene mucho prestigio y tiene mucho poder y está creciendo. La reputación de la compañía está creciendo bastante y ellos están en una posición de controlar peleas grandes en el futuro, porque si ellos pudieron bidear más dinero que una compañía grande como Matchroom, significa que tienen mucho prestigio y tienen bastante dinero y tienen flexibilidad para controlar y poner dinero en el boxeo para los puertorriqueños, para sus boxeadores, y significa que tienen mucho control sobre cómo pueden hacer las peleas que beneficien a los boxeadores puertorriqueños. Y eso demuestra que la compañía de Fresh Production Boxing no es tan pequeña como pensábamos. están creciendo en prestigio y ellos son una potencia grande que le ganaron a Matchroom, que es una potencia grande, pero Eddie Hearn se durmió. Él pensaba que la compañía de Puerto Rico, que era una compañía cafre, que no podía dar más dinero que él, pero se equivocó. Le pasamos el rolo. Los puertorriqueños le pasamos rolo a Matchroom. Le pasamos el rolo. Y también Turkey Al-Sheikh quería pasarse de listo también. No quería darle el beneficio a Subriel Matias. Y Eddie Hearn tampoco. Querían traer la pelea en UK para beneficiar el retador. Porque está con la compañía de Matchroom. Pero se equivocaron. Porque la compañía de Subriel Matias se pusieron listos. Y le pasaron el rolo y ellos se organizaron y ellos pusieron más dinero para tener más control sobre la pelea, y la pelea va a ser en Puerto Rico y eso le beneficia a Subriel Matias y al campeón Subriel Matias, y también me imagino que la van a pagar más a Subriel Matias que a Dalton Smith, porque él es el campeón. Pero los promotores de Eddie Hearn y Turkey Al-Sheikh, yo creo que ellos estaban envueltos y ellos querían pagarle más a Dalton Smith, porque él es el boxeador de la compañía con quien él es amigo. Él es amigo con Eddie Hearn, de Turkey Al-Sheikh. Yo creo que eso fue una táctica de ellos, a obligar que Subriel Matias peleara con las condiciones de ellos, de Matchroom y Turkey Al-Sheikh. Pero entonces se pasaron de listo a Fresh Production Boxing y ellos hicieron los movimientos que estaban supuestos hacer y pusieron las condiciones para que para que cuando ellos peleen, que peleen en Puerto Rico, y que la defensa va a ser en Puerto Rico para Subriel Matias, y ellos pusieron más dinero y ellos tienen más control de la pelea porque ellos pusieron el dinero, más dinero que Matchroom. Eso significa que es una potencia grande, Fresh Production Boxing, y tienen mucha influencia y van a tener muchas influencias en futuros peleas de campeonato en el futuro. Con boxeadores puertorriqueños, ellos van a tener mucho control y mucho prestigio para controlar las circunstancias, cómo le beneficia más al puertorriqueño, especialmente si tienen boxeadores puertorriqueños como Subriel Matias, que son fuertes y tienen un nombre fuerte. Ellos pueden tener control sobre esas situaciones. Suscríbete a mi canal, Tony Also Knows Boxing. Subscribe to that channel. You're tuning into my channel, subscribe to that channel. ¿Qué es lo que? Con la Tebay. Saludos, mi hermanito. Gone later, bye. ¿Qué es lo que? Saludos, mi hermanito. Gracias por estar en sintonía a mi canal. Suscríbete a mi canal. Compártelo con toda la gente que tú conoces. Tony Also Knows Boxing para largo. Suscríbete. One love. Voy a entrevistar a Yanquiel Rivera mañana. Voy a entrevistar a Yanquiel Rivera, mi gran hermano, que va a ser campeón, y que vamos a hablar del empate controversial de la pelea entre Yanquiel Rivera y Angelino Córdoba, que yo creo que Angelino Córdoba es un boxeador bien sucio y él le dio como, creo que 40 puños de conejo. Le dio muchos puños de conejo. Él pelea sucio. Él no peleó con las manos, peleó con la cabeza. Subriel Matias va a pelear en noviembre o diciembre en Puerto Rico contra Dalton Smith. Y Yanquiel Rivera ganó esa pelea. Él la ganó, pero le dieron empate. Pero él va a ser campeón. Saludos a toda mi gente boricua, a toda mi gente latina. Subscribe to that channel, suscríbete a mi canal, Tony Also Knows Boxing.